Guys, welcome to Better Bachelor. My name is Joker with a face for radio and a voice for print. Well, as you can see, I've finished my cabin. It is 100% done. They finished it in the last 48 hours. This is totally 100% not a green screen behind me. Totally legit cabin, 100%. When I see this kind of stuff, this is where I say this is unsustainable. It's almost as if, like if a crook broke into a store and if they manage to rob the place blind, they get to keep it. But if they get caught robbing it, well, okay, try again another time. And they don't have to pay for their misdeeds. What does that do? That leads to rampant crime. That leads to everybody trying to take from the store. And if they don't get caught, they win the money, cash and prizes. And if they do get caught, well, just try again on another day. This is probably the biggest fail when it comes to also me stuff ever. And that I gave this one a day to rest. This story came out yesterday. And I gave it a day to rest just to see if anything new comes out. And it means I'm not the first on the topic, but it also means maybe there's some corrections or other things that need to happen in the news. And I had never heard of this story until Trevor Bauer, the gentleman that had this stuff leveled against him, until the courts and everything was done, and he could kind of come forward and talk about what happened to him. This is from USA Today. Now, again, they really don't call her out. They don't show the woman's picture. They don't give any of her details, just his. Because we have to protect the woman, right? Even if she's the one that did everything wrong. Ex-Dodgers pitcher Trevor Bauer resolves litigation with woman who accused him of the snuggle struggle. Now, here's a guy that was worth, he's probably still worth a lot of money. But he had a contract, I think, a multi-year contract with the Dodgers for like $100 million, something ridiculous. A lot of money. And a woman says he did something bad. And, of course, that means he got suspended and couldn't work, couldn't earn a paycheck. So he goes over to Japan to continue earning a paycheck, not because he was found guilty of anything, but because he was simply accused of it, like we keep talking about. They say former Los Angeles Dodgers pitcher Trevor Bauer. Oh, let me just put a pin in that for a second. I will be playing his video. You will hear, he will explain everything that really happened. So I'm just reading this to give you the overall arc here. Former Los Angeles Dodgers pitcher Trevor Bauer has reached a settlement with the San Diego woman. Notice they didn't use her name, even though she's not the good person in this, and she's also not the one that's been harmed in this, who accused him of all the bad things in 2021, resolving all litigation between them, including his defamation lawsuit against her filed in April of 2022. Bauer's representatives said in a statement that Bauer has never made any payments to the woman, Lindsay Hill. Okay, I stand corrected. They do name her name. Good, I'm glad. Lindsay Hill, including to resolve their litigation. Likewise, an attorney for the woman said she did not pay a single dollar to Bauer, but received $300,000 from her insurance company. Now, what I don't know is, did that $300,000 go to her or did it go to the attorneys? More than likely, the insurance company paid $300,000 to pay for her attorneys. So she probably walked away with nothing. He's out, gosh knows how much money just to defend himself. And neither party really received any money. But the insurance, it looks like, at least paid for her lawyers. Based on the payment, Lindsay agreed to settle the loss. Based on that payment, in other words, the one from the insurance company, Lindsay agreed to settle the lawsuit, read a statement from her attorney. So it makes it sound like, well, somebody found her innocent because she got money. But I'm pretty sure that money that she got went to her attorneys. Hill also had filed a federal countersuit against Bauer last year in which she restated her claims and sought damages from Bauer according to proof at trial. The settlement resolves those counterclaims too. Now, I'm going to get to the video here in just a second because I know that's what you guys want to see. But I just want to give you the backdrop. Trevor Bauer and Lindsay Hill have settled all outstanding, blah, blah, blah. All right, so here's the video, and then I'll come back here. And so Trevor, I'll let him explain his story. He can do it better than I can.
Next victim, star pitcher for the Dodgers. A text Lindsay Hill sent to a friend before she ever even met me. What should I steal? She asked another, in reference to visiting my house for the first time. The answer? Take his money. So how...
Let me pause for a second here. Sorry. This is not his allegations. These are court documents that she said these things. So this isn't his take on it. It is the court's take on it.
How might that work? I'm going to his house Wednesday, she said. I already have my hooks in. You know how I roll. Then, after the first time we met, net worth is 51 mil, she said. Bitch, you better secure the bag, was the response. But how is she going to do that? Need daddy to choke me out, she said. Being an absolute whore to try to get in on his 51 million, read another text. Then, after the second time we met, former Padres pitcher Jacob Nix told her, you got to get this bag. I'll give you 50,000, Lindsay replied. Her AA sponsor asked her at one point, do you feel a tiny bit guilty? Not really, she replied. Since then, her legal team has approached me multiple times about coming to a financial settlement. But as I have done since day one, I refuse to pay her even a single cent. In August of 2021, Lindsay Hill's claims were heard in court. And during those legal proceedings, critical information was deliberately and unlawfully concealed from me and my legal team.
Let me just pause there for a second. You know, when you go to court and it's supposed to be, you get discovery, you get to see, by suing and countersuing, you have what's called discovery. You get access to the other person's text history, their phone call history, any pertinent documents to the case in both directions. But when lawyers for her purposefully conceal documents from his attorneys, that's shady. Why are these attorneys not losing their membership, their bar member? Like, how are they not losing their bar credibility? I don't even know what you call that. They passed the bar. They got to pass the bar to be an attorney. Undo the bar, whatever, disbar them. That's what it is. I am not an attorney. I hate attorneys. Oh, reminds me of the old joke. What do you call 50,000 attorneys and 50,000 politicians on the bottom of an ocean? A good start. I don't like lawyers, so I don't know much about lawyering. But if they're basically withholding information that could possibly set him free or prove that he's correct, I know their job is to win the case. But when you do it at the detriment of maybe a man losing his career and or going to jail, doesn't something need to happen when you're cheating? Withholding evidence is cheating. But does anything happen to those attorneys? No. Does anything happen to her? No. Of course it doesn't. Nothing ever changes. Now, I'm going to save my rant and all the other information at the end of this. And that way, if you guys just want the information, you just get the information.
Information like this video, which was taken by Lindsay Hill herself the morning after she claimed she was brutally attacked, emotionally traumatized, and desperate to get away from me. And now we have the metadata, so there can be no dispute. It was taken mere minutes before she left my house on the morning of May 16th, 2021, without my knowledge or consent, of course. In it, you can see her lying in bed next to me while I'm sleeping, smirking at the camera without a care in the world, or any marks on her face. I think it paints a pretty clear picture of what actually happened the evening of May 15th and why the video was originally concealed from us.
With the metadata, they can tie the metadata of the video, because that's always captured. So they can prove that this was the morning after. Number two, at any point, if a guy had a hookup with a woman and was taking video of her while she was asleep, unaware, without her permission, wouldn't that be a thing? Wouldn't women be screaming that that's a violation of some sort and how dare you, because she wasn't aware of what's like. We know this. The double standards are just infuriating.
Yeah. After hearing the evidence available to her, Judge Diana Gold-Saltman found that Lindsay Hill had misled the court. She found her claims to be materially misleading. She denied her request for a defense restraining order, and she found that no sexual assault or non-consensual conduct took place. Now, some of you might not know about restraining order hearings. I know I didn't, but I've since learned that it's extremely rare for a request for a restraining order to be denied because the standard of proof that you need to obtain one is extremely low.
Now, this initially was a good thing. I kind of agree with that, except again, as always, it's being misused. And now, because someone's able to get a restraining order or something like that, that is quote unquote more proof that he's actually a bad guy.
So you can make of that what you will. The fact is, I was never arrested. I was never charged with a crime, and I won the only legal proceeding that took place without my side of the story even being heard. And most importantly, as I've said from day one, I never sexually assaulted Lindsay Hill, or anyone else for that matter. So I sued her, which prompted her to countersue me. Quite frankly, regardless of the outcome in court, I've paid significantly more in legal fees than Lindsay Hill could ever pay me in her entire life.
Now, even though this is a baseball player that might be worth $50 million or $100 million, I don't know if he ever got any of the money from the contract that he lost from her lies. Nonetheless, he's got the money to pay for this kind of defense and the best attorneys. What if you don't? What if you're a guy that's a 9-to-5 jobber and you've been accused of something like this, and you go to the attorneys and they're telling you, hey, we're $500 an hour. We're going to need at least 3 people on this team. That's going to cost you, $8,000, $10,000 a week to retain us and do whatever else. If she's out several $100,000, so's he. The difference is, and this is the ironic part, the difference is her insurance paid for her attorneys. He doesn't have insurance that would do that, obviously, because he was never the one that was harmed in this, supposedly, when in actuality, he's the only one harmed in this. So she doesn't get punished. She doesn't have a ton of lawyer fees she needs to repay. She walks away scot-free, even though she made these accusations that turn out to be BS. He proves himself in the clear, yet he's still out a $100 million contract. He's still out several $100,000 of attorney's fees that he knows that if he sues her, he'll never get it back. It's lost money. Now, what if he had lost this case? Let's just say there wasn't a video right afterwards. And I know I said I wouldn't rant, but I got to rant while this is fresh in my head. What happens if she hadn't taken video right after? What happens if there weren't those texts? What if she just said, I'm going to do this, and she said it in her own head? Not only might he be out of a $100 million contract, not only might he be out several $100,000 just in attorney's fees, he might be sitting in jail. And he might be sitting in jail for an extremely long time. When that sword of Damocles is held over your head, and it doesn't fall and chop off your head, and it turns out that she made up a bunch of stuff, yet she can walk scot-free without owing any money to attorneys or anybody else, without being held criminally liable. And he knows if he countersues her, like he says, he did that for discovery, so they could go through her material. He knows he'll never make that from her. It's lost. It's flushing it down a toilet. This is too much power. It's being misused, and something has to change.
And I knew that would be the case going in. But the lawsuit was never about the money for me. It was the only way for me to obtain critical information to clear my name. The discovery process in that lawsuit recently concluded, at which point Lindsay Hill's legal team again came to us with another proposal to resolve the case. This time, however, they weren't seeking any money from me. Having received much of the information that had been hidden from us, a small portion of which I've referenced here, I was willing to agree to the terms proposed. Both parties would drop their respective lawsuits, and neither of us would pay either side any money. I also retained my right to speak publicly about the case, something I have not been at liberty to do since June of 2021.
The reason why it was so critical for him to just go ahead and drop the case is because, again, this is a civil, it's not a criminal lawsuit. Well, it might have started out as criminal, but they declined to charge him. They said there is not enough evidence here to charge him with anything. So criminal is out the window. So then it becomes a civil lawsuit. Now, they were willing to drop their half because they quickly realized, after all's said and done, we don't have a case here. This is a bag of hot air, and she made up everything, or allegedly made up everything. The problem is here that if he says, you know what, to clear my name, I'm going to go through with this lawsuit. You know what, I do not agree. I want this to come to the conclusion. He'd probably have the same information he does now, which pretty much I think we can all agree will clear his name, but it might cost him another couple $100,000 in his funds, and he'll never get a dime from her. So what's the point of continuing on? And this is what is so malicious about this.
So, as of today, both lawsuits have been settled. Now, over the last 2 years, I've been forced to defend my integrity and my reputation in a very public setting. But hopefully this is the last time I have to do so, as I'd prefer to just remain focused on doing my job, winning baseball games and entertaining fans around the world. So today, I'm happy to be moving on with my life.
And here's the problem. One of the problems. Here's the thing. This guy's a young guy. Being a baseball player, NBA player, even in some cases, even a very popular YouTuber. Not that this has ever happened to me. Trust me on that. You can get yourself in a lot of trouble by just wanting. You could go on a date and be a perfect gentleman. You could, in this case, sleep with her and have done nothing wrong. And because maybe they think they can get some credibility, they can get some attention, they can get some love and adoration on social media. Oh, you poor girl. They can get money. Women are incentivized to do this now. And remember, it doesn't always mean you have to be a Hollywood star or somebody that's popular to have this done to you, because all it takes is a woman to wake up the next morning and decide, I wish I had done that. Even at the time she was fine, even if she was all on board, even if she was excited, all it takes is for her to say, I wish that didn't happen. Or her to say, I'm so glad this happened. I really feel for you. I have this thing for you. I'm so glad we're together. And you to say, no, remember, this was just going to be a kind of a friendly hookup thing. But she gets the head over heels and for some reason has feelings for you. And then she decides, I'm going to get even with this guy. If you don't want me, I'm going to make sure that you can't ever get a woman again. I'll put you behind bars. A long time, and women will still profess today that they're the ones that need to be super careful because there's, 15 ninjas hiding in an alley that she can't see around every corner. And all she has to do is turn down the wrong corner, and here comes Samurai Jack out of the corner with his, and she's mugged or she's hurt, or they act like at any moment they're in peril. And some of that, I suppose is true, that you could go down the wrong alley or something or other. But here's the truth. Guys are in peril just being on dating apps. Guys and many guys feel they're in peril. They're in peril for just giving out their real name or letting a woman know where they live. This incentivizes men to be a hit it and quit it. Like, my name is Bob and my house is being renovated, so let's go to your place. And after he dips the wick and has his fun and he bounces and he blocks her on Tinder, all of a sudden she's like, I don't know where he lives. I don't know his real name. I don't know his real phone number. And then women are like, why are men doing this? You're the reason why men are doing it. You're why. Something has to change. So, are the laws going to change? No. We know the laws are not going to change. Are women going to change? No. We know women are not going to change. What has to change? Men have to change. That means if she wants to come over at 1 a.m. for a little bit of the old in and out, or it's the first or second date and you don't know much about her, and she really wants to go home and sleep with you, you better do your homework. You better find out who this is and what's going on. Or you better have a really good pseudonym and go to her place. And I don't recommend that. I mean, not that I don't recommend, that's not a great way to start any type of interaction with another human being. I mean, at that point, when you're so unwilling to share anything of your personal story, and it kind of becomes this, I'm going to fool her before she fools me. Basically, at that point, you're boiling it down to just the raw physical thing of it. And some guys are fine with that, but it's not going to make for a better society. And the end result is men are going to have to change this. Men have to stop talking to these women. Men have to stop going out with them. Men stop having to interact with them. And if not, then, get your fake mustache, Find your nom de plume. Find your pen name, what you're going to go by. Make sure it's always to her place. Don't let her see your car and your license plate, for God's sake. She'll take a picture of that. And welcome to dating. Welcome to dating. I'll leave it with this. This is a video that I found on the interwebs. I edited it slightly so it was a cleaner format. And this is a woman. I'll let her say what she's got to say.
Back in the days, most of the time, you would wait for someone to make the first move. It might be on the first date, it might be the third date, whatever. It could be the man, it could be the woman. But now, all my friends have noticed that the man has stopped making the first move. All my girlfriends are like, they're waiting. It's the third date, fourth date, a week later. He hasn't gone in for the kiss. He doesn't do any touching or anything. And I've asked my dude friends that are single, and they are like, you don't know where a woman's going to go with that story anymore. I ain't touching nobody.
What's important about this is what I was talking about, right? Now, I don't know this woman. Somebody said she's from a TV show, or I don't know who this is. The Real something or other. Real Housewives. Who cares? She's just another clucking chicken. But here's the thing, okay? She's not my type, but there are guys out there that say, hey, you know what? Pretty Asian lady, I'd love to go out with her. First date, second date, third date. I don't know. What's okay anymore? Is it okay to go for the kiss on a first date, second date, third date? When is it okay to invite her inside? I don't know the rules anymore because they keep changing every 15 minutes depending on what women want. And so even men that are going out on dates now are not making the move because they're like, she says it even right here at the end. They were like, you don't know. What else they say? Where a woman's going to go with that. Or where a woman's going to go with that story. I ain't touching nobody. That is a perfectly summed up face right there. I hate men. Guys don't know where it's going anymore. So there are some guys that are saying, hey, you know what? I'm going to go all the way. Nothing's different. I'm going to keep dating. Okay. There's a lot of guys that say, I'm not into this anymore. It's too risky, or I'm going to fake my name, or fake this, or fake that, just to participate and feel safe. And then there's just a whole lot of guys just like, no. And again, women are not going to change. The laws are going to change. Nothing is going to change. The only thing you can do is change your own part of the equation. You plus her equals courts. You plus her equals accusation. You plus her equals, well, if you can't change the her part of it, you can't change what she decides to do about it. You can change the you part of the equation. And you get the hell out of Dodge. And again, I'm not saying you can't date. I'm not saying you can't go out and get laid or whatever. You better make sure you know who you're interacting with. It better not be a one and done. I mean, again, you guys are going to do it, so I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just saying if you're going to do the one and done, you better be prepared to, have your whole you're going to be like a James Bond. You're going to have a passport and a driver's license and fake IDs and credit cards that say you're really somebody else. You'll have the mailbox with like 16 different passports and driver's licenses and a stack of cash in there in case you need to switch personalities real quick. Got to be James Bond to date anymore. Or you can say, something, I'm going to slow down a little bit. Tell Mr. Happy, chill out, brother. We got to find out if I'm sticking you in crazy or not. Because more and more you are. It's a mess. It's such a mess. I'll leave it there. I mean, I probably made this longer than I need to, but I just want to drive home how crazy this stuff is and that you guys need to be careful, man. And as long as this is happening, you have to show me 100% concrete proof for me to believe you anymore, ladies. Congratulations. Because I was a guy that was like, you know what? I'm going to believe her until I'm kind of proven otherwise, because we do want to protect, women. I personally have women I know that have had bad things happen to them, and you don't want that to happen to them, and you want them to be protected. But as time goes on, you start realizing, hey, you know what? There's a lot of questions here that are unanswered. I'm not letting my imagination fill in the blanks anymore. You better show me. You better prove it to me. And if you don't, and you don't like that, you can blame women like this for making that happen. Guys, if you like my work, as always, join me on betterbachelor.locals.com. I got a 12% off summer sale thing going on where you can become a supporter today for $3.12 a month or something like that. Less than half the price of a crappy Starbucks coffee. Come on over, give me a little support. We got a great group of guys. We talk about stuff. I've got videos that are exclusive over there, stuff like that. So hope you come over and join us today, and I'll see you in the next one.